Jo, was geht? Hallo und herzlich willkommen zur 119. Ausgabe von Tales of Arise. Müsste die 119. sein, wenn ich das richtig im Kopf habe. Beziehungsweise willkommen zu einer neuen Aufnahmesession. Woo! Ist Lenniges erledigt? Das Wohnviertel zerbricht in 1000 Teile. Ich habe hier auch Magie gehört, Alter. Da zaubert jemand, Alter. Angesichts der chaotischen Zustände im Wohnviertel gab es unzählige Verletzte. Sachen fallen herunter oder die Leute stürzen. Ja, sucks to be you.
Oh, dear me. What an unspeakable mess this has all become. Just look at the state of our city. Even the Zugals have stopped heeding our commands. Whatever did we do to deserve this?
You really have no clue what might have caused this?
Would that I have. Alas, there was no warning, no prior decree. His Highness must have deemed it unnecessary for us to know. We have no choice but to grin and bear it. But do my eyes deceive me? Could I really be standing in the presence of his lordship, Dohalim of the House Ilkaris? I believed he was on Dana.
Your eyes do not deceive you. It is I, one and the same. I have returned to fulfill a special duty, the details of which I cannot divulge.
As your lordship wishes. First, Lennigus mutates beyond recognition. Now, this unexpected visit. The Sovereign's plans are inscrutable indeed. The Ilkaris house has produced a great many lords over the centuries. I shall be praying for your victory in the latest crown contest.
Your good wishes do me an honor.
Ich weiß nicht, ob es... Der Herrscher weiß, was er tut. Sein Wille ist unergründlich. Wäre es nicht besser, den Leuten bis zum gewissen Grad die Wahrheit zu erzählen? Wo bin ich? Ich war nur spazieren, aber jetzt weiß ich nicht, wo ich bin. Ich weiß nicht, alles fällt auseinander. Sieht völlig anders aus. Ich erreiche eure Mutter und Vater nicht. Ihr müsst euch keine Sorgen machen, Kinder. Ich bin sicher, es gibt eine Erklärung für alles, was vor sich geht. Aber selbst die Suge laufen frei herum. Das scheint mir etwas gefährlich. Suge sind nicht mehr als unsere Diener. Sie mögen ausgebrochen sein, aber ich versichere euch, ich habe sie bald wieder unter Kontrolle. Wenn ihr Kinder euch als stolzere Nähe erachtet, dann seid tapfer. Wir haben die Situation im Griff, ehe ihr euch verseht. Oh, hört doch auf zu lügen.
Your Lordship! Oh, what a great honor it is to finally meet you. I descended to Dana during the last crown contest also. Alas, when the contender I was backing failed to clinch the title, I returned. I witnessed the deaths of so many slaves.
Indeed.
Sorry to interrupt, but we're looking for a woman dressed all in red. Have you seen anyone of that description?
All red, eh? No, I can't say I remember anyone like that. I imagine she'd stand out somewhat, too.
Yeah. What about down on Dana during the crown contest? You didn't see anyone like that hanging around the lord you were serving?
What's with all these questions? I've never seen her, okay? Not recently or otherwise. Why do you want to find her anyway?
Never mind. Forget I asked. Sorry to take up your time.
Die letzten Donnerschock einsetzen sollen. Liebe Shion. Ey, Kumpel. In all meinen Jahren habe ich noch nie derart mächtiger Heilungsarzt gesehen. Tiefsten Dank für eure Mühe. Einer alten Frau wie mit... Ich habe nicht gelesen. Rezept für Obstparfait.
Everything will be okay now.
I know the basics of healing arts. but my skills pale in comparison.
Wir reden auch von Motherfucking Shion, ja? Also... Mein Babe ist natürlich... Natürlich hat die starke Heilungsarzt. Arzt. Darf man nicht vergessen. Hier ist eine Kiste. Wir haben Erdbeerchen gefunden. Wie erinnert mich diese Satellit hier so sehr an Star Wars. Ich weiß nicht warum. Ja, mach mal Platz da, du Arsch. So. Ich bin der Meinung, man sollte Alphen als Lord auftreten lassen.
Is everything okay? You look a little lost.
Oh, yes. I can't seem to find my way home, is all. I was just about to make my umpteenth attempt at a new route.
I was hoping to head this way myself. The situation is a real pain, huh?
I suppose the Sovereign knows best. I daren't stay here too long, though. A lower caste can only linger around these parts for so long before I outstay my welcome. I was hoping to avoid it, but maybe I'll have to go that way after all.
You mean you know another way round?
Lord Dohalim Ilkaris! But how? Last I heard, you were in Dana competing in the crown contest.
Yes, strange, isn't it? If you know another route, we'd be grateful if you could tell us.
But of course. Please forgive me. There's a wall that sprung up ahead of here, with what looks to be an entrance in it. I thought maybe it was a passageway between the different quarters, but I've no way of knowing for sure.
It's worth investigating, at least. I shall go and assess the situation.
Ey, es könnte echt Pokémon-Musik sein, nur anders.
If it looks safe, I'll come and let you know.
You'd really do that for me? A lord troubling himself for someone of my lowly status?
Our lot in life is of little consequence. We are both Renan, first and foremost.
Oh, why yes, my lord. Thank you.
Du musst auf...
Well, we've canvassed the city for information. What do you think?
No one has the faintest idea what's happened to the city after all. They haven't heard the news about the crown contest either.
Nein.
You'd think that info would easily find its way up here. Has it always been like that?
Not to this extent, which would indicate that something's suppressing the truth, that Lenegis is under some kind of control.
Given everything that's happened to their city, the people here seem weirdly okay with it all.
Yeah, that one guy even said his Zoogle had stopped listening to him. If that's true, these people are in big trouble.
Everything that happens here is attributed to the Sovereign's will. It's the way people have been conditioned. Their belief runs deep. Nothing happens devoid of a reason. To them, it's all part of the Sovereign's grand plan.
The Sovereign's plan. There is one thing I'm still not sure about. Just who is this person ruling over Lenegis?
The Sovereign, of course. He rules from Rena while presiding over both Rena and Lenegis.
Without the lords or anyone in the middle doing his dirty work? Isn't Rena at least the same size as Dana? That's a pretty big dominion for one person to rule over.
Oh, geht's bald
I
nach
would have
Renner?
thought ruling Lenegis alone would be difficult enough.
The points you make are valid, though I confess I'd never given it much thought before. Here, the Sovereign's total authority is as natural as night turning to day. Come to think of it, I know nothing of the nature of how Rena itself is. Shion, have you ever been... No, forgive me. Have you met or crossed paths with, or even heard of someone who's actually made a visit to the homeland?
No, I haven't.
Neither have I. In which case, I would imagine that... But no, surely not. Can it really be that no citizen of Lenegis has ever been there?
Hold up, what are you getting at, Dohalim?
Kann es sein, dass...
Assuming what I believe to be correct, it's possible that no one on Lenegis has ever laid eyes on the actual Renan homeworld itself. No one but the Sovereign, that is.
But what about trade and communication? There's got to be a flow back and forth, surely.
Not if the Sovereign is imposing his will on Lenegis single-handedly. It could be a one-way street.
But I thought you said that the Sovereign's all the way over on Rena. If that's the case, Can he really rule directly over Lenegis from so far away?
Fuck.
What if something were to happen to the city, like now?
Ich habe immer
I'm
gedacht,
beginning
die...
to wonder what the nature of this sovereign even is. Alphen said he was forced into the role, right? Just before the ceremony. But sovereign is also the title given to the almighty Renan ruler. So which one is it?
Whoever wins the crown contest inherits the throne from his or her predecessor, before becoming ruler over all of Rena and Lenegis. Thereafter, that individual is known as the Sovereign. Though, it would appear that the current ruler has gone silent. As for how Volron factors into all this, at this point, I no longer know what to believe.
3 centuries ago, I became the Sovereign here on Lenegis. No, not just became, I was forced to. Me, a Danon. 300 years later, we cross paths with Volron, who also bears the Sovereign's crest. That's not the only thing we have in common. We both became Sovereign without winning the crown contest.
Do you think Volron was made sovereign for the same reason? Because of that ceremony?
I can't say for sure, but it certainly sounds like it.
But that would mean that 2 sovereigns would need to exist at any one time. One whose job it is to rule, and the other for ceremonial purposes. We never did see Volron's body back in Ganath Haros. Is a new ceremony underway with Volron at its center this time? Could that be what's causing all this strange activity here?
Wait a
Möglich.
second. You don't think Volron and the Red Woman are working together, do you? The ceremony can't go forward without the Renis Alma. The
Könnte
same
die
one that the
Rote
Red
die
Woman
Jungfer
stole.
sein?
There's something else the ceremony needs. A maiden. And unless there's another one out there aside from me.
Questions, questions, and yet more questions.
Verwirrt.
Ones that it seems will remain unanswered, until we can establish the Sovereign's identity.
If the Forbidden Zone really is off limits to everyone but the Sovereign, that seems as good a place as any to start. For the sake of liberating Dana, too.
Then it's decided. That's where we need to go.
One of the citizens mentioned a passage that she thought might lead to another section of the city. It could point us in the right direction.
Das
Let's
wäre
go
ein,
find it.
ein guter Zufall. Ich habe eine andere Vermutung immer gehabt. Ich habe immer gedacht, dass die Renea ursprünglich auch von Dana kam. Ich habe nicht daran gedacht, dass die ein eigenes Planeten haben. Aber meine neue Vermutung könnte sein, dass vielleicht der in eigener Planeten total in Schutt und Trümmer liegt.
I didn't realize Renans oppressed their own kind, too.
And yet, weirdly, none of them seem to mind. Am I the only one who finds that strange?
It is the way things have always been, so no one thinks to question it. You have experience in that regard yourself, do you not?
Unquestioning acceptance of your own servitude. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Even so, the quality of life here seems much higher than any Danon city we visited. I used to think it was impossible to build an ideal society without wealth. But I suppose having it doesn't always mean people are treated fairly either.
More to the point, not a single citizen seems to have even heard of the Red Woman.
Wieso auch?
What if she's not here?
Ich war Shion,
What if
ist
it turns out we're
sie
looking in the wrong
aufgefallen.
place entirely?
It's still too early to say anything for sure.
For all we know, she might be able to blend in, move around unnoticed. I say we hold off judgment until we've exhausted every avenue.
Die Kunst der Konversation.
Tell me, Dohalim, has that skill of yours got a name?
And what skill would this be, pray tell?
You know, when you're talking to people around town. The way they suddenly become putty in your hands.
I'm afraid I don't quite follow.
I do. It's called friendly intimidation. Look imposing and speak in a deep, booming voice, and presto, you'll have people wrapped around your finger in no time.
I would never stoop to such scandalous tricks. Any feelings of intimidation are solely in the eye of the beholder.
So there is a knack to it! How do you learn it? Can anyone do it?
Now you've got me curious. Is there special training to master?
Let's see. An obsession with being elegant is a must. Oh, and it helps to be old-fashioned, too. Bonus points if you speak in a way no one can understand.
If you've a bone to pick with me, it'd be quicker to just come out and say it.
What? They look up to you, that's all. I'm just helping them along.
Hey! What's got into Alphen and Law all of a sudden?
I can barely understand a word they're saying. And what's with the weird poses? Was it something they ate?
I hope you're willing to take the blame for this one.
I wasn't expecting them to take me so seriously. I'll go and have a word with them.
Okay. Ich mag, dass immer noch so ein bisschen Humor drin ist in all den Dingen, die passieren. Das liebe ich in Tales. Oh, schon wieder. Ey, jetzt müssen wir langsam die Zwischensequenzen aufhören.
I mean, there's sovereigns up on the Renin homeworld, and all their lords were sent to Dana.
Wir haben keine Lords mehr.
Dohalim was a lord, right?
Only current acting lords have power. Renin society is quite strict about such matters.
Even if the other lords were still around, I doubt they'd be able to do much about the situation.
I wonder what they'd think if they were here to see Lenegis now. Balsif, Ganabelt, Almadria, and Volron. Now that I think of it,
Geht die Musik auf den
aside
Sack.
from Dohalim, we know next to nothing about the other lords.
Well, yeah, why would we?
Ich schwöre bei Gott, das ist die Pokémon-Musik. Es könnte die Pokémon-Musik sein.
To us Ganons, they were just enemies we needed to overthrow.
Wird
Nothing
wahnsinnig.
more.
I know. But seeing Renins in their own city, going about their day-to-day lives, it gets you thinking.
It feels strange to imagine the lords living here too, you mean?
Yeah, a little.
If you're that curious about them, why not try inquiring with some of the locals? Every lord in their household has their share of supporters here on Lenegis. And luckily for us, the people here are unaware of the events on Dana, which means they should be more inclined to talk to us.
Quest begonnen. Renea und ihre Lords. Hallo, ich bin der Lord. Eigentlich müssten die sich von mir auf die Füße werfen. Oh, ich hasse diese Musik. Die geht mir so hart auf den Sack. Warum ist die so nervig? So fucking nervig. Boah, nervt die. Erinnert ihr euch an meine Wenigkeit, mein Lord? Gewiss doch, ja. Ich unterstütze nicht nur das Haus Ilkaras, sondern auch seine Lordschaft persönlich. So sehr, dass ich meine Wertschätzung seiner Lordschaft mit jedem zu teilen ersuche, der mir Gehör schenkt. Wie sich ergibt... Oh Gott, Alter. Oh, so viel Blödsinn.
I guess she intended to spread it throughout all of Lenegis then.
Good thing the lines were down so she couldn't.
It almost sounded like she was praising them too.
Maybe there was more to the guy than at first glance.
I shall refrain from commenting.
Vielleicht liebt sie auch einfach nur Dohalim. Kisara, was willst du da tun? Unerhört, dass jemand versuchen würde, mich vom Haus Valkyris abzubringen. Was wollt ihr? Sagt mir nicht, dass ihr für Lord Dohalim arbeitet oder diese schreckliche Almadria, oder? Nicht? Naja, jagt mir nicht so einen Schrecken ein. Eure Frage zu beantworten, meine Familie unterstützt seit Generationen Haus Valkyris. In der Tat, ich tue, was ich kann, um Lord Ganabelt hinter den Kulissen zu unterstützen, damit er siegreich hervorgeht. Viele halten ihn für einen grausamen Menschen, aber ich bin überzeugt, dass sie sich irren. Nicht wirklich. Ich leugne nicht, dass er streng sein kann, aber stellt Renners Interessen vorn an, wie kein anderer. Ja, er wirbt sogar dafür, dass wir Dana kolonialisieren und unseren Horizont erweitern sollten, statt in Lenegis zu bleiben. So werden wir Herren beider Welten und sind auf Danas Oberfläche keine Minderheit mehr. Deshalb möchte ich, dass er der nächste... Oh Gott, Alter.
Ganabelt was so horrible to people. Yet he was invested in helping Rena succeed.
Alter,
Doesn't that seem just a little inconsistent?
wenn du hast keine Ahnung über Ganabelt, du hast ihn nie getroffen. Also halt die Klappe. Du hast ihn...
In my mind, While all lords vie to become the next sovereign, they're also meant to serve as guardians of all of Rena.
It seems like Annabelle
Alter, könnt ihr mir auf...
cared about until the very end.
So why couldn't he extend that to us Danans?
Ihr wollt wissen, welchen Lord ich unterstütze? Wieso? Wirbt ihr um Unterstützung für jemanden? Ich stehe auf Seiten seiner Exzellenz Airwolsey Taldillis. Ihr kennt ihn vermutlich besser als Lord Balsef. Ich weiß, dass sie ihn viel für einen Haudegen halten. Glaubt mir, ich weiß, dass er ein aggressiver Mann sein kann. Warte mal, habe ich Gannabald und Balsef? Ich glaube, Balsef war der Erste, oder? Fuck. Umsonst gerade eben Renala angeschrieben, glaube ich. Diesen Leuten ist jedoch nicht klar, wie sehr er sich um die Mitglieder seines Hauses kümmert. Es ist durchaus so, dass Haus Teledillis weniger Ansehen genießt. Die von uns, die ihm dienen, geben das bereitwillig zu. Aber seine Exzellenz verteidigt uns gegen jeden, der uns schaden will. Das ist gewiss. Seine Bemühungen, Kampf um die Krone dienen nicht nur seiner Familie. Will damit den Stand jedes Mitgliedes seines Hauses verbessern. Ich verdanke seiner Exzellenz so viel. Ich würde es nie erträumen, einem anderen Lord zu dienen. Hör mir mal zu, du kleine Bitch. Du wirst mir bei dem.
Balsef had it in him to care about someone other than himself? Really?